I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Hello out there in YouTube land. We're doing a Friday night special. I got Daniel Benoit, not Benoit, from the East Coast Bigfoot Research Organization. Before we get started, I'll remind everybody I'm on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon, and a few more. And I want to be your third place podcast. Everybody has 3 podcasts they listen to every week. The third one's only there because the other 2 might be junk and they're tired of listening to them. Make me your ace in the whole podcast, third place. Check out bobbydizzle.com for all ways to listen. But it's time to get to this. Friday night special. Daniel, how's it going? Glad you could join me on long/short notice at the same time. Somehow the same.
Hey, it's going great. It's going great. I'm glad to be here, and I don't know how many people are on right now, but just to let you guys know that even though we're live on Bob's end, I was able to broadcast live from my YouTube channel. I was able to add that in. So hopefully we'll get some of my YouTubers in to view if they're around. So
I saw that link.
Yeah. So I've tried to do it with others, but for some reason this is the first time it's actually worked. So yeah.
Sometimes they don't allow it, or they're not like the non-paid version won't let you do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sometimes there's a restriction. We got Alice in the comments.
I wasn't sure if it was going to let me do it since we were already gone live. Sometimes you have to do it before you go live. I think, I don't know, but it's all good.
It appears to be. I wasn't sure if anybody actually come on for the first 15 minutes because usually it takes a little while for them to discover me since I didn't really advertise it.
Well, it's the same with me. As much as I'll promote something I'm doing, and they seem like some of them might pop on right away, but then most of the audience will show up probably a half hour later. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
there's always the hope that the algorithm grabs you and throws you into some mix.
Absolutely. Well, there's David Lester. Yeah. He's one of my ECBRO team members. So, yeah.
I was trying to tell this morning, one of my friends at work, I was like, I got Daniel Benoit. He's from the ECBRO. And I'm like, I don't know what that stands for. Something.
The East Coast. Yeah, the East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization.
I was trying to say Catskills. I'm like, that's not even in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, I'm based out of, I grew up in Virginia, but I'm living in Pennsylvania with my fiance. And we've been covering a lot of ground up here. But yeah, for anyone that's new on your channel, or new, either way, I mean, we shared this around on social media. So if you want more information about me, just go to the website above my head. So
also, it's in the description of the YouTube video.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal.
I had enough time to do that,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not hard to find. I'm all over social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw an ad today with you in it. And I can't remember who it was. It wasn't your ad. It was for it was you and Jason Kinsey and Les Odell and some other appearing somewhere.
Oh, that's probably the event that I'm hosting. Yeah, me and my fiance, we're hosting an event up here in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Now, we do have it's the Pennsylvania Myths and Legends Festival. That's happening May 25th, right here in Somerset, Pennsylvania. So, yeah, we're actually looking forward to that.
I was laughing because it called you Benoit.
Yeah. Oh, you seen the video that Jason put together.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, Jason put that together. Yeah, for those who don't know Jason Kensey on Facebook, he's Jason Humber. He is a award-winning film producer. He has a series. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Most of them are uploaded now on Tubi. Searching for Sasquatch. It's a fun series. Now he takes a very serious approach, but yet he's very laid back and chill. He likes to add humor in it, so he really makes it a lot of fun. I know me and Julie, we enjoy watching him. And he's going to be one of my speakers in May up here in Pennsylvania. And not just that, but he's going to camp a couple of days with us because we have a week-long camping expedition immediately following the event. Yeah, and he's going to be doing some filming, probably do a few interviews. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
That last one he did with the speakers up at Randy's place, in Minnesota. Randy has invited me up there so many times, and I'm like, it's so far away. I mean, that's a 19-hour drive for me.
Now, I talked to Jen from the She Squatchers, and she was telling me about all kinds of stuff. So like, yeah, she knew I had already watched the episode, and she was telling me, she said, there was a lot more that we seen and a lot more that we interviewed and this and that. She says there's a lot more stuff that she thought Jason was going to be putting in the film. She was like, he left a lot of stuff out. I said, oh, really? As far as like, one of the eyewitnesses that they interviewed that they didn't show on camera was their camper. I mean, they had a big dent in the side of their camper that happened on the property there, so none of that got shown, like little things like that got left out. But I said, oh man, he should have showed that, but I understand he had a lot of stuff because, he's not the only one. Yeah. He's not the only one filming. Several people might be taking pictures or filming in different areas out there. And, at the end of the whole thing, they all submit their stuff or upload it to one drive, and I guess he takes whatever he wants from it. So he has all this stuff to go through to keep up with, so, but, yeah, I guess it's whatever. So, but I'm looking forward to meeting him. Like I said, he's going to be one of our speakers and he'll be doing some filming. So yeah, coming all the way from British Columbia. So
that's on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a whole different world from there to the East Coast here.
And he's a wildlife photographer originally. It's crazy how he made the switch.
Absolutely. He tends to specialize more in the wildlife. He still does that. Because I was telling him about a couple other things. I was sending him some pictures of some large canine tracks I found one of the last times I was out in the woods. And he said, that looks like a wolf track. I said, you know what? I said, I didn't even think about that because I said, down in Virginia, we got wolves down there. So I got pictures of them, But yeah, I said, well, we're up in Pennsylvania. It's a good chance they are up here. Just because I haven't seen them doesn't mean that they're not, But
it's one of those things that the local Department of Natural Resources won't let you admit there's there, so they don't have to regulate them. Like
right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised that they, in Virginia, you could find information online. I mean, they're not exactly admitting, but they're not denying. However, come the mountain line, you'll have articles. Well, they don't exist here. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So
they'll get plumb mad at you about them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do they have the Black Panther legend up there that everybody tries to deny there's not Black Panthers?
Up here in Pennsylvania, as far as cats, period, the only thing they'll say they have up here, and same thing in Virginia, they'll tell you, well, we got bobcat, but they'll deny everything. Now I've seen a black cat myself in Virginia, but that was back in 2015, and I know what I saw. That was in the George Washington National Forest back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, the year. But it was in the evening. It was still daylight. The sun hasn't gone down yet. I just, when I first noticed it, I was like looking at something. It was dark. I said, "What the heck?" I had a buddy of mine with me, and I was like, "Fred, what is that?" I'm looking down the road, and I couldn't make out what it was till it actually got up and you could see it stretch across the road as it was walking across the road. All fours, long black tail, floating behind it. So I mean, there was no denying what it was when it got up and walked across. But I'll never forget that. Now, there's other eyewitnesses in the surrounding counties there. I mean, there's blog sites, where people share their sightings. I actually created a blog a few years, probably more like, I don't know, between 5 and 6, 7 years ago. I've had a fairly decent response from locals, sharing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them had shared reporting it to the authorities, the game commission, and then, of course, the game commission said, no, that ain't what that was.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, people seeing things. Why are you saying they're liars? Why are you saying they're seeing things? I mean, I can understand there's some people that might see things or misidentify things, but not everybody's misidentifying these, So, same goes with oh, go ahead.
I just realized I need to get some more game and fish on people on here. I had or like park rangers. I had that Robert Leiterman from Bluff Creek Project on, and he was he was telling me about how they would always have him come look at things that might be a possible sighting out there at the National Forest in California.
Right.
But he said he didn't have a code word or anything. It's just if there was something like that happen, like a Bigfoot sighting, that they would call him over there because they knew he was interested.
Wow.
I would just like to pick their brain and listen for little code words, over the course of 10 of those guys. They all said this when they ever asked that question. Manchurian Candidate.
Well, we have he's retired from the game and inland fisheries in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I won't make it mention his name because we have yet to meet up and go over a few things. But this gentleman, he's actually on my social media, but he reached out to me probably about a month ago, or maybe a couple months ago. He was filling me in on a few things. Now, this has nothing to do with mountain lions. It's actually Bigfoot, which I was kind of surprised to hear this, But the game commission there at their station in the district was keeping record of things that got recorded and reported and things that they heard that they can't identify. And of course, they don't want to mention it publicly, but even amongst their own people, they gotta they don't want to hear it mentioned. Because my buddy that was bringing it up to them, he's like, yeah, he says you might not want to mention that around here because they have their protocol, they have their whatever they got to do. It's like we got to remain professional, but at the same time, they have that they don't want to say Bigfoot, but that's what they've got going on. At least that's what they're pointing at or leading to. But but yeah, he has a lot of information. He said he wants to share with me. I'm very curious to know, what he knows. Get behind the scenes.
Is he going to pull you behind closed doors and show it to you and
that I don't know. I mean, I would love to see if he's got evidence he's willing to share with me. I mean, of course, that'd be awesome. I have yet to really have a talk with him. I mean, we've had, he sent me some long conversations on Facebook, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Would you take the deal to know 100% and never have to tell anybody? I would.
Well, here's the thing. I know 100% on my own. I have no doubt. I mean, I'm a witness, but but
it's not fair.
It would, it's a different story if authority figures, would admit to something. But
what was your witness story? You don't have to tell me now, but
what's that?
What was your witness? Did you tell me that before? Surely you did.
Witness about what I was just talking about?
Yeah, when you witnessed a Bigfoot.
Oh, that there, there was, that was in 2014 during one of my outings in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Six of us total shared that encounter. We were on one of our campouts. It was for a whole week, but it was May 3rd, 2014. After scouting around during the day, we decided to take an evening hike. Plus, we left out on foot while there was still some daylight left. But it actually took place while we were down at the lake that's in the area. We were actually, after spending some time around the lake, we were on foot, and keep in mind at this particular time it was just after midnight, just a few minutes after midnight. But we were walking back. We had almost a mile hike back to camp, and we were walking a single file line, and we're walking along. I'm actually in the lead, walking ahead of everybody, and we're all talking at normal tone. We're not trying to keep quiet. Our objective was just to get back to camp, and that was it. But as we're walking along, halfway out of that forest road that came from the main forest road down to the lake, right over on the side of the road, it was interesting that we observed or noticed a deer that was walking right towards us. Nonchalantly, we were just walking there like we were nothing, like we weren't a issue. And then that deer decided just to kind of turn off. It wasn't scared. It didn't appear to be scared because it was just, like I said, nonchalantly walking along. Mm-hmm. And then it turned off and went further and disappeared into the darkness. Which, again, I always tell people I thought that was odd. I don't know why, because deer in the area are normally very skittish.
Yeah,
but
deer in general.
Yeah, exactly. Especially there's hunting in this area. Of course, this was outside of hunting season, but
yeah,
it's like the deer know. Yeah, these deer are smart. They know when hunting season is because they totally disappeared. So absolutely. Hey, Melissa. So yeah, right after seeing this deer, it was probably not quite a whole minute. As soon as we walked by where the deer disappeared, on the opposite side of the forest road, something catches my attention, and immediately I'm thinking it's something reflecting off of a tree, like one of these little metal yellow signs, And what got me was I'm staring at it, and I'm thinking at the same time, that's an odd place for one of these little metal yellow signs to be located, because there are these yellow signs that are in random locations throughout the national forest, and they're very small, and usually all they say on them is no vehicles beyond this point.
Mm-hmm. Stop, no. That's what they say here in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
They say stop, no motorized vehicles beyond this point.
Oh. Well, again, here I am. That's what I'm thinking this is, because it's reflecting, showing up as yellow. Because we all had headlamps on, and so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, my eyes are glued on it. And next, it became more in focus because it actually blinked, and that's when I realized it was actually a set of eyes. And I saw the set of eyes. Once it made its blink, my eyes became focused that it was a set of eyes. And my buddy Tracy was the next one right behind me, and I pointed at him at what I was looking at. I said, "Tracy, is that a freaking mountain lion?" And next we'll see it, and it just zips off, like it disappears, like it were real fast, so it ran off. And keep in mind, we didn't see no shapes or figures or nothing, but Tracy he called to the rest of the group, guys, get up here. There's some eye shine up here. So we all regroup. We get into that spot where we saw that first set of eye shine. And we're looking down over to where we saw that first set of eye shine. We're looking right into the woods. And keep in mind, it kind of sloped down several feet and leveled back out. And there's been real thick in there, some bushes, a lot of trees. But we're looking down in there, and we're looking probably a good between 30 and 40 feet. So a lot of people ask, well, how far? I always estimate it's somewhere between 30 and 40 feet. But that set of eye shine showed up again. And we're staring over there down at this eye shine. And what's weird is it's swaying side to side. And there's my beautiful fiance. There's Julie. Enjoy the journey. Hey. Yeah. So, we are looking right down into the eye shine. And it's, like I said, it's swaying side to side. And keep in mind, it's kind of mysterious. It's kind of mind-boggling because we're not seeing no shapes, no physical features, nothing whatsoever. And I don't know. It's just puzzling. The thought of Bigfoot wasn't even on the mind at all. I had no idea what we were looking at. And for the record, for those who haven't heard this story, these were large, yellowish looking eyes, very large. And they appear to be bright, I guess that may have been all from the light reflection from off our headlamps, but they were pretty bright and seemed to be kind of large. So as we're observing this one, within a short moment later, another one appears over 4 or 5 feet to the right of it, probably around 6 feet tall, because this one here was like another 2 feet taller than the small one. Yeah, the small one we estimated that it had been no taller than 4 feet tall. So we see a 4 foot one, Now we see another set of eye shine, 2 feet taller. So we're going to say a 4 and a 6 foot one. And this taller one, it didn't have no special movement. It blinked its eyes on a few occasions. Of course, it's looking right at us, staring at our bright lights we got. And we're just seeing the eye shine. Well, we're not seeing nothing special, which I wish we did. But so as we're watching this, I'm looking around. I'm starting to look away or look around. A couple of the people that were there, I think some of them were getting excited. Yes, we are getting snow out there right now. I checked before I came in here, so it was coming down light. So yes, snow is coming down.
I'm jealous.
So yeah. So I'm looking around, and like I said, a couple of us are getting excited because we don't know what we're looking at. It's eye shine. It's mysterious. So
is it 2 or 3 at this point? Two.
Right
two
now, it's only 2 sets of eyes.
4 feet, 6 feet.
We got right, exactly. And I'm looking around, and something else catches my attention. Over behind these bushes, down very low, remembering back, it appeared to look like they were almost on the ground. But as I'm staring at this, and I make mention of it, I don't know who else was paying attention. I think Tracy's the only one I've ever really heard acknowledge everything. So it's like, okay, Tracy must be seeing everything that I'm seeing, because a couple others were saying other things. My eyes were glued on what was going on. But here's the third set of eye shine, and I'm staring at it. And as I'm staring at it, all of a sudden, this set of eye shine starts raising up, like it's growing. And it keeps getting taller and taller and taller. And next you know, over top of the bushes, it comes to a stop. And then all of a sudden, here we are with this third set of eye shine towering over top of the 6 foot one by another 2 feet. So now this is getting very interesting. We got a 4 foot, a 6 foot, and now an 8 foot. What in the world could these be? As far as bears, I said, I don't see these being bears. Yeah. I mean, every bear I've seen at night had red eye shine,
And not in that part of the country either, as being that tall.
Right. I think our average black bear, don't get me wrong, we do got some big black bears, but most average is usually 6 feet, And so I think after observing this one, it was getting a little interesting because Tracy, it was Tracy. Tracy's the first one that said something. He's like, guys, we got squatches. Now, when he said that, I was like, okay, I wanted to believe that. I wanted to, consider that, but it's just, I needed something more to confirm. I just didn't see nothing that said squatches besides the height level, and so I don't know. What happened was a moment later, it did get interesting again. Now, keep in mind, we weren't seeing no physical features, no details, but I'm stuck on looking at that tall one, I guess because it was tall. So, and for the record, that small one was still swaying side to side. And I'm looking at this tall one, and all of a sudden it made this maneuver, like it turned to its left and took a step or two and then looked back. Now, when it did that, I believe this was because the position of the angle of the lighting, it caught it just right, where a clear silhouette of very wide, broad shoulders and a big round head that sat on top of it. When I saw that, to me, that clarified, okay, these are not bears. There's no way these are bears. I was convinced that, yes, we had squatches. I didn't know what else to think because I'm familiar with every known species of wildlife that exists in these woods.
Mm-hmm.
And or at least up till then, I thought I did, so, but yeah, there's no other explanation on what has very wide, broad shoulders, 8 feet tall with a head that sits on those shoulders. Although we didn't see no other details, shapes, or anything of the other two, that tall one to me confirmed, okay, these are squatches. And at that point, no, not at that particular moment, but just a moment later, they all three seemed to turn off and they like disappeared into the darkness, like they were blended in, like their hair color must have been black themselves, because that's the only thing I think about, that their hair color must have been black enough to where they were blending in with the darkness. One or the other option was they were far enough back out of the view of light. It was very dark, and being that late, the cool mountain air was settling in. So, as far as I always ask myself, why didn't we see those details? Why didn't we see those physical features? I mean, being that it was dark and possibly that they had black hair was the only things I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing:
very powerful light.
Right, I do carry very super bright lights now that you can see long ways with. That will light.
I got me a 5,000 lumen.
Oh yeah, mine are all putting my gear in my cases. Yeah, I don't have nothing out and about right now, but yeah, I got some. I don't have none of them available on my desk here, but I do have some very cool stuff. So, I even have this one small flashlight. It's probably about maybe 7-8 inches long, and it feels, for a small flashlight, it's pretty heavy. But that there is a super bright light. Well, here's the kicker. After they disappeared, we made our way back to camp. And when we got back to camp, we were still talking about it. We were, every thought that came across our head, we were discussing it. And so here's what's going to happen. I mean, here's what happened. Well, actually, I should say what didn't happen. When we got back to camp, we realized that me and Tracy were the only ones that had backpacks. 2, we were the only ones that had night vision binoculars in our backpacks. 3, not once did we ever think about pulling them out to get a better observation. And people ask me, well, why not? Why didn't you think about what you're caught up in that moment? You got some excitement going on. You're dealing with something mysterious. You're like trying to figure it out. The thought of your tech and your gear. No, that's like, and it's on your back. You're focused on what's in front of you. That's the only thing. I don't know how else to explain that, but I mean, it was disappointing. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what else to that's the only thing I know how to explain. It's like we were caught off guard, and it was exciting. I've had people ask me before, was it scary? Honestly, no. It's probably because there was 5 other people with me. Now, we did have a couple, Kimmy and Darren. They were down from Vermont. Kimmy was the only one that expressed any form of, nervousness, being scared or whatever. But for the rest of us, now I don't recall anyone being scared or nervous. At least they didn't express it anyway.
Yeah. Keeping it really contained.
Yeah, exactly. But now, real quick, I'll throw this in. I'd like to add this to it too. A year later, in that same section of woods, just around the corner, not even quite a quarter mile, not even a quarter mile around the corner, there's a camp spot. Actually, there's 2 camp spots right outside the lake entrance there. There's a big one and a small one. Well, the small one is literally right around the corner. In November of 2015, during the hunting season, I was camping out there, and I was at the campsite, and I was just sitting there. It was probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and it was just boring. It was so quiet. I was wide awake. I wasn't tired. And you know what? I just decided to grab my spotlight, get up, and go out to the middle of the forest road. Now, keep in mind, it was dead quiet, nothing going on. And I did not turn my spotlight on until I got to the middle of the forest road. When I got to the middle of the forest road, and I do this on occasions, well, with or without people, I'll walk out in total darkness and just stand there, listen, and look around. Well, I did this for maybe a minute. And then all of a sudden, I took my spotlight and I started shining in the woods right across from me. From where I was standing in the forest road, the tree line was maybe 20 feet. So over to my left, I start shining it right away. And just beside that tree line, even though I didn't see it, I spooked up a deer. You could hear a deer like jump up and run off. Like, oh, cool. I spooked up a deer. Exactly. And I said, okay. So I started taking my spotlight and I started panning it from my left over to my right. And as I got between the 1 and 2 o'clock position, whatever was inside that tree line next had my heart pounding in my chest. Because what I heard, even though I didn't see nothing, what I heard next was very large, heavy bipedal steps walking away from me, just inside that tree line. I didn't see a glimpse of anything, but I heard bipedal steps. Every step it took had a crunch and a thump in it. And when I'm hearing this, it wasn't a fast walk, but it wasn't slow either. But again, every step I heard was literally making the heart in my chest like pound. And it's kind of like almost like buck fever. You know, you ever get buck fever and your heart's just pounding away and like you can't get your breath. Yeah, exactly. That's how I was feeling. And I started to literally walk backwards, looking behind me, make sure I'm walking back into my camp. And with my opposite hand, reaching down, you know, with the keys on my belt loop, making sure my vehicle was unlocked, just in case I had to jump in my vehicle and take off. But as soon as I got back into camp, I threw another log or two in the campfire. I sat down and I instantly calmed right down. It's like everything just dropped, you know, like it wasn't happening. Because I come to the realization that, okay, whatever that was, assuming it was a squatch. I mean, what else could there have been that was so hard, so large and heavy? And I know without doubt that it was bipedal. Well, I realized it was going away from me. If it meant me any harm, the way I look at it is I had every opportunity to come out and sack me like a football player. You know,
yeah, definitely.
It was going away from me. So now I'm looking at the situations. I'm comparing 2014 and 2015. Okay. Quote that I said there was deer present prior to having those situations or those encounters. I question myself, and I bring this up all the time, but were they preparing to make a hunt? Were they about to take those deer down? Because there was deer present at both situations. So that's something I often think about. You know, I don't believe it was impossible. I believe it's very, very likely or a good possibility. I'll put it that way. I can't prove that's what they were doing, but it's something I think about very often. So,
they hit you with that infrasound.
Something. You know, I want to say real quick. I saw Joe Torre on here. Yeah, Joe Torre. He camped out with us and he did the filming for one of the documentaries I'm in, Hunt for the Shawnee Sasquatch, with him and Zach Sterick, and the rest of the gang out there. So Benjamin Bishop and oh man, I have brain farts. I have so many names in my head, I can't think which one to pull out.
You get in this business, you start knowing everybody. It gets like you're not name dropping; you're just trying to remember them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Joe's my new best friend. We did the Big Muddy interview, and it's like we started just chatting about making documentaries because I want to make one. It's all back and forth because I was a film student, but I never pursued it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to the LBL.
I'm an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've interviewed people through my phone and everything, but I already had a couple small camcorders. I've actually upgraded. I got me a nice Canon. It's the X. What is it? X. Where is it? I don't know if I have it accessible. Yeah, this one here. I have yet to. Yeah. Well, that's another thing I had to upgrade my laptop. I'm on a new laptop too. I've had this for a couple months now, but 2 or 3 months. So this is part of it. I got the night vision attachment. This is a Canon. It's a high def XA110.
Okay.
So,
you got the night vision for it?
And, well, it already has built-in night vision. All I have to do is turn the switch.
Yeah.
But these two attachments I have added. These are the extra attachments, and I've already tested this out outside of the apartment complex over here. And I tell you what, this lights everything up. I have yet to try and experiment with it out in the woods, but I have this infrared illuminator and this one here. This one over here, the one that looks like a flashlight, it actually takes a rechargeable battery. This one here, this other one is rechargeable. So, but yeah.
Say XA110?
This is the XA110. Yeah, it's the Canon high def. So they have other similar models. I'm not familiar. I mean, they look identical to this one. I don't know what their other features are, but just when I found out that this had infrared on it and I started looking into the reviews, I had to jump on this one. Now, a cool thing about this one here, I'll tell you, this model here has 2 external microphones. And it picks up pretty good with just the external mic, with the built-in microphone. And of course, it comes with the external microphone. You could add the external microphone too. So I got the plug, and then it goes. Of course, it goes right here on the side. So. But,
Dang, that's a whole ass XLR.
What's that now?
That's a whole ass XLR connection.
Yeah. This thing here is like really awesome. So, yeah.
They bought me one similar to that to work. I think it's the next model down.
I don't know. See, the model. I don't know what's a model down, model up when it comes to these things. To be honest with you,
I don't think there's a lot of.
They have.
I think this one has a lot more the bells and whistles of the external portion. That little Picatinny rail thing on top.
Oh yeah. Well, that whole thing that's removable. You could. As far as the there's parts of it. Yeah. Hold on. I'll play with it later. That case is hard to believe.
This is
I bought those cases to keep all my gizmos.
The Friday night camera review hour. If anyone's watching, this is featuring Alec Baldwin and my sweaty balls. Camera review.
I'm going to tell you, there's another. I got a couple new toys, but yeah, I'll do a little bit more show and tell here real quick.
I don't mind. I wanted to do like a portion of this show, like once a month, do like a camping gear review because I've got like a new Gazelle tent I've never opened, and I wanted to review it so bad.
Oh, okay.
I was going to go on a big camp out with what that is? The green screen.
All right, so this, X infrared. Now I'll tell you what, this is a device. When I learned about this device and came across this device. Now, a lot of people that are familiar with the Fluor One, they know it plugs into the bottom of your phone. And the Fluor Ones are okay. I've had one before. They work good up to 50 to 75 yards. It's again, they're okay. You're still going to pay a couple $100s for them. But now, this device here, the X infrared, it is designed to work with your phone. You have to have the app, just like the Fluor One. All right. Now, if you get this device, you have to make sure you get the right one because they make one for your Android or iPhone. Of course, I had to get the one for the Android. Android tends to be almost $100 more. But all it is, excuse me, I can pull it out right here. It comes in this little tiny. The camera part is actually in this little case that's inside the big case. So yeah, I love the case. Everything, it's in a well-protected case. So I don't know, because I got my green screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'm going to try to hold it up here. Yeah, so there it is right there. So, all right, so it comes with a wire. Let me put this down for a second. Of course, it comes with a handle right here. And then you got this extra attachment. You have to open it up. It's solid metal. It's not the cheap plastic junk that you get most of the time. Well, everything's completely solid and metal. There's a department where the camera slides into the mechanism. And, of course, everything attached. And comes with you got to plug the wire that goes from this little camera into your phone. This device, you can see nearly around 1,000 yards. You'll read that it says up to almost 800 yards. So to me, that's nearly 1,000 yards. I've played around with this in one spot out in the woods. Only thing I noticed or found out there was like some kind of rodent playing around in the woods around us. But I've tried it looking out at the main street out here, and to pick a person almost a quarter of a mile up the road, they were well lit up. and you clearly see it was a humanoid figure, and that alone impressed me on this thing. So again, this is the X infrared, and again, it's a great device. The quality is unbelievable, and for $430, like I'm not complaining at all, not one bit. You know,
Yeah, that
So-
knocks off like $200 off the cheapest FLIR. with
Exactly.
some capabilities.
Well, I have the TK Scout FLIR, which is okay, but the distance and the clarity is limited on that. I paid $500 for that one. For $430, you have a better vision, longer view, and it's better quality. You know, it's amazing how technology
Mhm.
and I mean every company's different, but
I have a Sony high 8mm camera with the old school IR on it. It lights up like a room, maybe.
oh
Like,
okay,
it'll light up an area about the size of a kid's bedroom that my grandmother gave me 20 years ago.
oh
And I thought that
yeah.
was the extent of it. I thought that was the extent of IR technology for cameras. And then, well, I went to the haunted South Pittsburgh Hospital 2 weeks ago, and the guy going with me had a bunch of stuff, and he handed me the IR camera because I'm always the videographer wherever I'm at. I don't know how that ever happens, but this lit up like the entire hallway. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's just like having the lights turned on.
Oh wow.
Just Amazon, just the kind like you had about that big on top of a camcorder.
Right.
It was insane. Amanda's
Huh.
stuff's gotten better.
Oh yeah, it's come a long way, that's for sure. Hold on, I'm seeing Joe has asked a
Yeah,
question.
Joe's.
Yeah, he said, "Are you an aper, or do you sway towards blue at all?" I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, everybody I'm surrounded by is, you know, more on the paranormal side of the whole thing, but regardless of who I'm surrounded by and who I associate with, I tend to lean more towards being an aper. But
Aper.
as far as that's how he's wording it. So yeah,
I've never heard Aper before.
I know I'm going off of his word, but
I know
it is
exactly what he
funny.
means too. We'll start using it.
Right. I tend to believe they are a form of unclassified, undiscovered primate of some sort. I personally do believe that. Can I prove that? No, but there's a lot that I can compare what we associate and contribute to Bigfoot compared to other primate behavior and characteristics. But I mean, we have evidence that we could say, hey, well, Bigfoot could be this, but we have this kind of evidence. But as far as on the paranormal side of things, what have we captured to say this is this? You know, but I keep an open mind. I do not dismiss nothing because I've actually, since I've been up here in Pennsylvania, I've experienced things I never thought I would experience before.
Mhm.
And I'm very objective on a lot of this stuff. But for me to witness something, I'm going to say, hey, I saw that. Now, I can't say, even though my fiance says it's a form of energy, I have to remain objective. I can't just jump on it because my fiance says this or my best friend says this. I have to remain who I am and say, I'm not sure yet. I don't know. But I've seen those flashing lights of different colors. I witnessed them on more than one occasion up here. You know, she believes they are a type of a form of energy, or you know, that Bigfoot's projecting or putting out there. I'm not going to deny that, but I can't jump on that yet. You know, so
We also had that mind fuckery, I call it, with when you were out there on your campsite.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's just a lot. I mean, like I said, I try my best to stay focused in certain areas, but you know, I have to keep an open mind. So, don't right, exactly, absolutely.
Have you
Like
ever
I
heard
said,
the
I mean,
similarities between the Fae lore and Bigfoot lore, the fairy folk?
no, I don't know if I've heard that though.
I may have to send you a video of an interview I did with Mr. Jason McLean, and he started going down almost like a round robin, like basketball playoffs between Bigfoot lore and fairy folk, and it's like the same thing. They're like the same lore dating back for centuries.
Yeah, definitely send that because actually, me and Julie were watching one of your episodes just last night. Matter of fact, I can't remember what it was about or who was on it, but yeah, because we watch a lot of YouTube. She loves a lot of YouTube podcasts, and so she'll watch it through the TV. But
bless her heart, she's watching me on the TV, trying to break her TV.
yeah, she's actually. Well, she was on here, and I bought the TV. It was her. Yeah.
TV's gonna tear up.
Yeah, she did. She never had a TV, so I was like, you know what? I got her a late Christmas gift. So, but yeah, she's actually at work right now, so watching through her phone if she's still on. I'm not sure if she's still on right now because she don't get off till 5 a.m.
Jeez.
So, yeah, this is her weekend to work. She normally has every other weekend off. So, but yeah, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So
ain't no way.
But
I can't work
the good thing about it. Yeah, I know. So yeah, like I said, yeah, definitely send me that. But I try my best to keep an open mind on a lot of things. So, see, OCIR says.
Do we know OCIR?
Right. I'm not sure who that is.
He's coming through your channel, so I figured you might know him.
Well, I have a lot of new subscribers, so it's, I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the names. The fiance
you don't know all your subscribers. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're right. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
Do you remember Wild Trees? You may have met him on like Black Lotus.
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, he was like a co-host. He's a biologist, and he used to be my co-host. I'd be his co-host, but he quit because he got like paranormal overload. He just got tired of hearing it and without any proof. And I was like, man, how do you do that? It's such a cool. And here recently, I've gotten it. I was like, I'm so tired of hearing people that tell me they live and do this every day and never see and like know this clan by heart, but don't have any pictures or anything. I'm like, nothing. You don't have nothing. And so I've strove really hard to get. I've been looking through IMDb, and that's how I found Joe Turry. IMDb for documentarians and authors.
Oh,
I don't doubt the people like, for instance, Randy from Kinsey's documentary, Randy, the property owner. He's coming on.
Okay.
He comes on every 6 months here. He calls me on the phone. Like we know each other.
Oh, nice.
But but there's people like not just like him, but people who are similar, like have, that's little Munchkin that lives on behind the barn. He comes and steals my apples.
Right.
I'm like, get a picture of little Munchkin. Just, I know I know why maybe it can't happen, but it's frustrating just to hear all the stories with nothing. It's like this giant game of edging. It's this giant game of edging we're all playing with it, and nothing ever happens. I'm like, God, something. So I'm just want to like. That's why I have you on here. You're kind of like in that category of more of a sciencey, realistic. You're kind of a palate cleanser. You're like sorbet after between courses for me.
Well, here's my thing. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I've heard people say, "Well, I don't use science. But yet, you'd be surprised how much they contradict themselves on what they believe in, what they claim. Well, hey, everything you talk about, you claim to do or say is all scientifically related. However, I have to, I'm not trying to sound like I'm trying to be careful how I word this. I have no academic, degrees whatsoever. But there's a difference when you understand the scientific way, when you want to remain objective. You try to rule every other possibility out.
Yeah.
To me, that's not scientific. Right. Learn to question everything. Do not accept everything. You got to approach everything and accept everything with a grain of salt. So yes, there's a lot of ways I do take this scientifically. However, I am trying to be open-minded because I want to be able to understand what people call the woo and this and that. Well, I know me and my fiance were talking about, she hates hearing the woo thing, and I've heard others say the same thing. So it sounds better if we call it paranormal, because paranormal are unexplainable things that we.
Yeah, that's just a classification that something is. It's like the absence of normal. It's like darkness is the absence of light.
So And a lot of people, I've had, people ask me, well, could you put Bigfoot in the paranormal? Why not? Absolutely. There's a lot we don't understand. There's things about them I don't know if we'll ever understand, but we say there's no experts on none of this, but yet there's people that are among us that will tell you, well, Bigfoot's not this, Bigfoot's this. Bigfoot won't do this. Bigfoot will do this. Well, how do you know if you never witnessed it? There's these people out there constantly contradicting themselves. And, as much as I like to want to shut up, I can't help it. Sometimes I call these people out. I said, well, I do. I know it's not cool to do that, but I do it anyway. So it's like, it all boils down to have fun with the whole subject, have fun with it, I have fun with it. That's why I'm still doing this. I mean, the whole thing, it's become more than just a curiosity. It has grown into a passion. I love the whole mystery. And I don't care if Bigfoot becomes discovered and put out on the public view that, okay, hey, everybody, the world knows he exists. If it ever comes down to that, is it going to stop me? No, because there's a lot about the subject we don't know. That's now anyway, but you're going to have some scientists make up some claims like they do with the primatologists when they have their studies of primates. Unless are we ever going to have Bigfootologists or primatologists that are going to sit there and observe a Bigfoot in their natural environment? Bigfoot doesn't want to be seen now, so nope. I don't know. I think that's a very slim chance.
He doesn't. So, they don't trust us for shit, and I don't blame them.
Right, exactly. But I don't know. It's always going to be a mystery, regardless if it becomes publicly put out there, acknowledged whatsoever. The subject of Bigfoot. You have your non-believers, and you're always going to have non-believers. You got skeptics, and you're always going to have skeptics. And I love skeptics because the skeptics are enough. They're the ones that have enough respect to ask you simple questions. Like where's the body? Where's the remains? If we, some of the non-believers will ask similar questions as a skeptic will, but yet they're not going to believe. They're not going to give. A non-believer is going to be stuck in their ways unless they have enough you can present to them to open up their mind to a consideration. At least that's where the skeptic is. They're considering maybe, almost every skeptic I talk to, well, I want to believe, but, I need to have some proof, and sometimes it takes seeing something to believe, but, I was a believer and a knower before I have ever had any sighting or any encounter. When I was out in the woods exploring in my earlier years in this, I was finding large humanoid tracks. I was like, really? What? I was like, nobody knows what I'm doing out here. No, I can rule out people hoaxing me. I'm out in this location. Nobody knows why I'm out here. I don't have nothing that says Bigfoot. I didn't advertise myself or who I was. I just went out there and explored because, for one thing, I love the woods. I love the outdoors. I've been in the woods since I was a young kid. I was well acquainted, well familiar with a lot of the outdoors. I was finding stuff, like I said, a lot of people will post, hey, I'm going squatching. I do that, but I'm not going to tell you where I'm going, unless you're following me, so, but yeah.
Now you mentioned skeptics. I have a rough time with skeptics and of a group that you're not very fond of.
Okay.
I didn't want to confess that I'm actually in that group, but I'm not like part of them. I get it. I hope he's not mad at me because I'm just in the groups. But no. I don't get the ones that are in
critical thinker
subreddit. Yeah, that group, the coalition. The coalition.
Oh, okay, right.
Same one.
Yeah.
And
I've been a target in that group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been a target and center of attention in that group multiple times over the years. So.
But how about subreddit Bigfoot? It's the same people.
What?
I don't understand. Like it's a subreddit on Reddit. It's just Bigfoot, lowercase.
Oh, okay.
It's like they don't believe. They don't ever want to believe, but they're in all the groups. and their sole purpose is to not believe. I'm like, what are you doing? What is your purpose in this? Like, no evidence is ever going to be good enough. Like, what's going to make you happy?
Exactly.
I don't understand them. Like, what?
Well, I know, yeah. Like I said, you're not the only one that's. I got other friends that are in there too. A lot of friends. I know. I get screenshots from people, and I was like, oh, like some of the things I get shown. I was like, I'd rather not see that because the less I know, the less I'll get upset or let it bother me.
Mhm.
Everyone says. A lot of people say, "Don't you shouldn't let it bother you anyway." I know. I tell the same thing to other people. That there's a lot of new people they're just now getting involved or been involved, but they just never had the criticism or the ridicule. So a lot of them are just now starting to experience it. I said, dude, I've been experiencing it. I know it does get easier later on. Well, you know, if you ignore it, it won't bother you. You know, so but yeah, that. They call everybody involved. I don't care who you are. They'll call you a hoaxer in a heartbeat. I know they labeled me a hoaxer multiple times. One back in the days when I was kind of new into this, you know, boy, did I learn that it was a no-no to try to raise money for yourself. You know, I mean, yeah, that made me look like an idiot, which to them anyway. I mean, yeah, I was doing fundraisers strictly for, you know, equipment, and I wanted to get more involved, and, you know, I thought that was the way to go, you know. So yeah, they turned that into me. I don't know. Somehow I became a hoaxer because I was trying to raise money, you know, and I wasn't trying to hide. Yeah, I mean, I never understood raising money for yourself or equipment made you a hoaxer. I mean, but yeah, it's whatever. So, but yeah, I know. Again, those people call everybody involved a hoaxer, and they'll hate on you. They'll find something for you. You know, they just like to laugh about stuff. You know, and I'm sure there's a few of them do it behind the closed doors of that group. You know, so there's probably a lot more behind the scenes than you got that you get to see. You know, just being in there.
I like to weaponize them because they'll watch anything that's controversial.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
anything I have that's wooish, I put on that group, especially just because they're like, "What the hell?" laugh on that laugh emoji, but by God, they watch it. And if you're if you're watching it and you're a coalition member right now, share it to him, share it to the group. I'm going to after it's over. I share it to every one of them. I don't care. You know how Tucker Carlson just did his interview with Vladimir Putin a few days ago. I'm doing one similar to that in the Bigfoot world, not mentioning any names, but it's going to be similar to it. And I'm still trying to like hype myself up and, you know, slap myself in the face. How am I going to make it through?
So, the person you're doing this with, you have this person already lined up, whoever it is.
It's official, unofficial, no dates, but the agreement's been made, and I just don't know how I'm going to approach it. It's going to be like dark, and we're both going to have cigarettes and wine and whiskey. I don't know. It may not even happen, but because I don't know if I want to. That's going to be
now
like.
You got me curious. Do I know this person or
you do? And I'm not going to go any farther in it, but yeah, it's going to be. I just don't. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to handle it because it's going to be a big fish to reel in and keep on the line.
Oh, wow! Could you give me initials?
I'll give it to you in chat.
Okay, all right, dude. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I really don't want to like say Beetlejuice 3 times right now.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx nothing because you know
we're an hour in, and I don't want to like them to show up and have to stay up till midnight fighting them in chat. And I want to keep this Christian podcast. It's fun anyway, but it's
okay. No mind. I was just checking something. I had it.
It's not as spectacular as you might think, but it's still something like it's going to show when I do it. It's going to show how far I've came from the first time we talked, first time you and I did an interview like a year ago to when it's got that kind of, because I do this 3 times a week like a stand-up comedian.
Right.
I try to sharpen my conversation. That's why I'd have caffeine levels that of 3 Bang Energies in 1 coffee.
Yeah, my coffee's about gone. I'm drinking on my water that I have a flavor pack in. So
Well, I ate hush puppies and catfish all night, so I'm dry as a bone.
Well, I did have some I made me some really nice rice, really delicious rice with shrimp laid across it. Yeah.
Did David say what many don't realize we spend our own money to buy equipment? No outside source funding.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I share with David every time I buy a new toy or I'm considering getting something. I share it to David. I said, "Look," and then it's like then he'll ask questions about it, and then he'll look into it himself. And so yeah, I know he blames a lot of his new toys and his spending on me. So
I've never understood
Yeah.
like when that it's like a what is the word doxing? It's almost considered like a light form of doxing if you find out somebody's making money on something. I'm like, what does anybody do anything for? Making money.
yeah.
He's just doing that for money. Yeah, probably. What
Oh,
are you doing?
you just made me think of something else. You know, a lot of people, they see us go out all the time. They see us in doing Bigfoot research, and they see a lot of stuff on social media, and they think we do this for a living. And I'm going to tell you, I wish I could. I really wish I could, but I don't. I mean, if I have the time and the opportunity to be out in the woods, yes, I'm going to take advantage of it. You know, so absolutely. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Somewhere down the road, something might pop up. You know,
I'm definitely going to do it for a
anything's
living.
possible.
I've just got to figure out the podcast game. I think I've got a couple little analytics line. I think I got a couple analytics figured out that if I can like screw in there and make it happen, I can grow a little faster. But you got to really work at night when you're not at work. And I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy when I'm not at work.
Oh
I have a big problem. When I'm not at work, I'm tired.
Yeah. And also laughing at David. I mean, David's wife, Melissa. She said, well, it's the truth, Daniel, that he buys everything because I show him something. So,
you see new toys, man. You want new toys. It's something about them. They're all flashy and rechargeable now.
Well, you know, my thing is, there are things I've been looking at for a long time. I'm finally able to get a few things that I've been wanting. I mean, a couple things I've already had that basically I just upgraded to newer, a little bit better quality stuff. So, I mean, I'm not rich by no means. I'm not. I mean, when I have the money to do it, I do it. But, you know, so yeah, Joe said, I'm not getting rich on my documentaries. I do them for fun. Right. Which I plan on, you know, that's part of one of my projects that I've wanted to do for a long time. Most of my field videos are just YouTube stuff. You know, it's nothing fancy. They're just me in the field. You know, I mean, I get subscribers. I lose subscribers. My subscribers fluctuate up and down all the time. You know, I don't know what makes them drop off. You know, maybe they get boring. Maybe my content's too boring because I'm not like the hoaxers like Sonny Vader putting up the same Bigfoot, you know, and everyone he makes his videos go viral all the time, you know. Yeah, I don't do that stuff, you know. I don't claim to have Bigfoot in my videos. You know, I like to share some of the interesting findings I do come across and share the scenery and let people see where I'm going, you know. That's basically it. If I come across a track, yeah, I'm going to show it. If it shows up on camera, a lot of times tracks that we find that we see real clear in person, camera doesn't do justice when you try to produce them. So, but, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What kind of videos do you think, besides the actual podcast, get the most attention, like the kind you post?
Well, I tell you what, one of my field videos, I mean, it's people videos of out and exploring will get a lot of attention. Just a couple of months ago, me and Julie, one of our field videos from a couple months ago, or a month and a half ago, whatever it was, it's got 18,000 views.
Yeah, I saw one take off. You're just walking in the woods.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, I mean, we have a few. We were returning to this location. It's where we were getting those weird experiences. First night we got to that location where we decided to start checking out. It was we got there in daylight, But here it is, nightfall. They got dark, and it was quiet. Julia actually, she was seeing things before I was. She had claimed to have seen a couple eye shine out in front of where she was sitting. Well, it was quiet. I decided just for the heck of it, I did a couple whoops. I was standing back behind her off the side on another boulder. Because we were overlooking a small field in front of the woods, and there were these big boulders that border the field. And the tree line is probably about maybe 40, 50 feet out in front of us. And she was seeing something. But again, I wasn't seeing it from my position. But I decided to give off a couple whoops. And I did I went whoop, whoop. Just two, just like that. And right away, right out in front of where I was, from where I was standing, there was a tree knock. Out in front of where she was sitting, straight out in front of her, where she was seeing her eye shine, was another knock. And I was like, we heard it. It pumped us up. We were getting excited. Yeah, as she mentioned in the chat, she said the eye glow was just inside the tree line. So, and she was seeing it. I wasn't seeing it from my position. I was in a different position. I wasn't seeing what she was seeing. So, at least not at that moment. But that's when I came around, but she kept talking about what she was seeing. I wanted to see it too. So I kind of got in her position. She stayed on that rock. I got basically right next to her. It took me a little bit, but then I started seeing different flashes of blue, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" But yeah, it got very interesting. We were seeing some of the weird flashes and the lights that night, but it was one of the follow-up visits where we actually seen a lot more. I mean, at least I was seeing a lot more. I know she's seen multiple things, and she was pointing out where she was seeing things, but right out in front of where she was sitting is where I was focused, because that's where I was seeing these different lights go kind of flash up and down, and some of them were blue, some of them look like a goldish color, like a yellowish, And here's another thing too. Almost 2 miles from that spot down below, there was another area we were at night, and keep in mind, the one spot's right here, the other spot's almost straight down directly in front of that spot. Well, when we're at the other spot, in a whole different position, looking over, we seen flashing lights and different. I don't know. I don't want to call them orbs because they were flashes. I mean, if they were orbs, I don't know. Word. But again, if they were, I didn't see them as orbs from what I understand what orbs are. These were flashes. They were up and down, left and right. And I was like, what in the world? And so, yeah, I mean, there's something going on in that forest out there. There's some strange, mysterious stuff going on out there. So,
was there any time loss or anything?
No, not that we know of. I mean, so.
You can get abducted and probed or anything like that?
No, but back to the other spot where we first started seeing the lights. One of the nights we were there, the sky was pretty active with a bunch of, airplanes, jets, maybe a few, one or two helicopters. But there was something strange up there. It's like I kept telling Julie, I said, "What the heck is that?" There's something up there flashing in one spot. It kept flashing, and all of a sudden, probably after a few minutes, that whatever was flashing, like jetted off. Like, what the heck was that? So, yeah, so it was very strange. So, very strange.
I kind of made a friend with a guy over in Georgia, Les Durant. He does a lot of CE5 stuff. He lives on top of a mountain. He just takes pictures of stuff that happens. And he told me what to do. And the first 2 times I tried it, I would see things. And I think they're on to me now. I have it came back. But yeah. one of the times I saw something, and it was not a meteorite. It was not a shooting star. It was
how would you describe it?
I was up here, I was looking up here, and it was off to my peripheral, but it was less than a second.
Oh, wow.
And it was bright and just flashed in and out. It didn't, shooting star burns out.
Right.
This was, this was like something just showed itself to me in a second, just at an angle too. It wasn't like, And like I was trying to do C5, I was doing like the hey guys, it's me, give me a sign. I was saying something like that, and all of a sudden, boom, corner of my. It's always in peripherals when it happens. Like,
Yeah.
it happened to me twice, and that was crazy. I went back inside, and I shit you not, that same guy, Les Durant, was on a podcast with. He was on. I didn't know he was on a podcast. I just happened to be doing it, and I came in and it said live with Les Durant. I'm like, what the hell just happened? It was Daniel DeHoyas, Beyond the Woodline.
Okay.
He was on his show.
Okay.
He was on his show, and I'm just like, what have I done? Is this some kind of synchronicity crap?
Yeah.
Man, it happens to me all the time, but that was the wildest one. I ran back in the house, and I was, I'm like, what? It just happened to me on that, and I told him about it in the chat. It's wild. If you concentrate and believe, like you'll see like something.
Yeah. See, Joe is asking my thoughts on Dogman. Now, for the Dogman believers out there, I don't hate me because I don't believe in it. But this is why I personally have not seen any evidence of large humanoid-looking dog tracks. I don't know. I never witnessed or experienced anything that would resemble a Dogman. I know I got friends that are into it. I got friends that believe in it, and I tend to stay away from it. If I ever witness or see anything that suggests otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'll put it out there. But I try to stay away from that subject, but only because I personally can't. I just can't see it right now. So as being likely, but. I'm not saying they don't exist, but that's just me.
Okay, quick game of would you rather. Would you rather argue Bigfoot with the coalition / subreddit Bigfoot level skeptics, or argue Dogman with every Dogman person?
Oh man, I got pulled into a few conversations with Dogman. Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because. Now, let me tell you, I actually left a few Dogman groups because they were posting. Now, listen, hear this out. They were posting tracks and claiming they were Dogman tracks. But keep in mind, these tracks, I'm a wildlife researcher. I study various species of wildlife. And they were posting feline tracks, very large cat tracks, and calling them Dogman tracks to be exact. So, yeah, so I don't know. People are going to believe what they want, but I tend to think it's, just something to stay away from right now. But, if I come across something that suggests that, hey, okay, maybe they are real, then I'll jump on board, So, yeah, we'll see. But,
are you familiar with this obsession with the land between the lakes?
Oh my gosh! It's every other post in my newsfeed is something about it.
It's so close to where I live right now, and I've never been there. I want to shoot like a 10-minute documentary of it, just to see what happens.
Well, we were in discussion on possibly going down to do a camp out down that way, but we had other plans come about. So. We're going to actually be camping up around Salt Fork State Park instead. Mm-hmm. It's a lot closer. It's only about a good 3-hour drive from us. And me and Julie will be camping out with friends of hers, Shelly and Steve from New Jersey. And they got a much longer drive. I think theirs like 6 to 7 hour drive. I think theirs is more around 7 hours, I guess, give or take. When I looked up, it's like about a 3-hour drive from us, from where we are in Somerset, Pennsylvania. So,
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Well, the Woodwalkers are having a meet and greet up there in April.
And who's that now?
It's the Woodwalkers. It's Spencer Jameson and Misty and Greg House. They're all kind of he's in Virginia. Spencer is, but I think.
Okay, Spencer Jameson. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he's on my Facebook. Yeah.
He's
Tiffany.
going to be there. But a couple other
Yeah.
guys who are close to me are going to be there, and I'm thinking about going up there. Just I love meeting people who I've been on podcasts with and been guests and had as guests. I didn't know how much joy that would bring. I didn't know how much joy that would bring me until it happened at a convention I went to and met like 10 guests. I'm like, oh my God, I love that. I love these people. You're my friends.
Yeah.
It made it real for me. Like it went from being like mom's basement hobby to like, I want nothing else out of life. And
right.
It is raining here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You hear that? Sideways rain.
I got my earbuds in my wireless, my JBLs in my ear, so I can only hear you.
it's Forrest Gump raining out here.
And I don't know. I haven't. Yeah.
I mean, it's raining here. I mean, it gets my window. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're talking paranormal and it's raining on a Friday night. What better?
Hey, that's cool with me.
We're living the dream right now. This is what we wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wait,
do I think Bigfoot could shapeshift? I don't know. I'm not gonna say I believe you can. I believe I could believe on a lot of things, but if I was to ever consider believing that, I would have to have something to suggest that they do. But I know a lot of people believe they can. I mean, there's entities where people believe that certain entities could shapeshift into multiple things, such as, wouldn't that be the Wendigo or
and Skinwalkers?
I know they're known with. It's believed that they shift shape, but
but they're like getting into the crypts. You got to kill somebody to be a skinwalker.
No, yeah,
it's a blood in, blood out kind of thing. It's like being in a West Coast gang. But Melissa, if you listen to my episode, Melissa, and it should be under the playlist Bigfoot podcast, but it's called the Bigfoot Fairy Connection, and I'm going to make a clip out of the actual part of it. But it's with Jason McLean, and it's like the first 20 minutes, and he's talking about the similarities between the fairies and the Bigfoot lore, like from old Ireland and Europe and stuff. And it is insane, especially with this kind of shape shifting stuff. And like one of the main things like is how do you like knock on wood is a fairy thing. Like you knock on wood to get the luck of the fairies.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing you do when you want to summon a Bigfoot? You knock on wood.
I
was like,
right.
When you listen to that episode, it's 15 minutes in, maybe, and maybe sooner, and I'll cut it down. But if you go listen to that, it's like I was like enthralled. It went for almost 3 hours,
right?
And it was just like his research on the subject was incredible. He's a biblical historian, biblical researcher, cryptozoologist. So the rabbit holes were aplenty that night.
Oh, so that was the episode she was watching. Yeah, Julie had that on. That's the one she was watching the other night. She said that was a good podcast. She's like, I listened to that Bigfoot Faye connection last night.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one. And it just the way he kept going, the knock on wood thing is that's like the sell the sizzle. That's like when the fajita comes to the table. That's the sizzle of the whole thing. But when all the other little things, just like, man, like nobody started seeing the big aliens until they came on TV. It's a whole thing.
Tiffany, David was like, Daniel, Melissa was just pulling your leg, and David, Melissa should have asked, do Bigfoot researchers wear apes while making donuts? I mean, wearing aprons while making donuts. And then David knows I pick on him because him and Melissa work at Krispy Kreme, and he don't like being teased that he wears an apron. So.
time to make the donuts.
Hold on a moment.
How do you feel about gifting?
Oh. Gifting, okay, because I know I'm reading all the comments, they're jumping up there. Gifting, I think, is a very fun idea. I personally like gifting. A lot of people like to try gifting with trinkets and stuff. I think that is a very fun way to gift. I've heard of people making their own little mini structures to see if they get interacted with. You know, I think those are fun experiments. Gifting with food. I know a lot of people believe in that and do that. That could be both either as well fun and interesting, but it could also be dangerous depending on leaving food out in the area that you, especially if you're going to camp in this particular area. I don't recommend leaving food out in a camping area because you're
Yeah.
inviting.
That's a
every
whole
possible-
nother ball of wax there.
Yeah.
Black bear aren't cryptids, and they are real.
Right. Mostly, yes, I want my own apron. I do. I will admit it. I want my own
Now I
apron,
want-
but I want a
now
big. I want a
crispy
Bigfoot on mine. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
being from the South, I love Krispy Kreme, but
Oh my
everybody's
gosh,
like,
yes.
and the hot and ready, hot now sign's always the delicacy. My favorite one is chocolate covered cream filled. Like I could eat 75 of those things with chocolate milk. Make my face itch.
Well, put your address out there. Maybe Melissa and David could send you some.
No, well, we have Krispy Kreme here.
You got it down there too. Yeah.
I'm in Alabama. We have a Krispy Kreme. And I just remember the reason I kept bringing up that episode with the Fae. OCDR was mentioning. It's so far up there. Here it is. How did I find it? Oh my God. There has to be a logical reason why no bodies are ever found. Wow. That's like 50 foot up the chain of comments. Wow. Okay. I was obviously supposed to address this. So, the Fae connection is, you know, the fairies, when you give a gift when the fairies give you a gift and you take it, it's like food and cookies and stuff. It turns to like tree
Right.
bark.
Oh.
And if there is a connect, and we're going way out in the woo here, and I don't care, but if there is a connection and say they are the same thing, a similar entity at best, maybe when they shed their biological form, they turn into tree bark too. They turn into a stump. And that's why there's no bodies. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when fairies die, they leave a pile of leaves. Bigfoot died, maybe he leaves a stump.
But every time you say a fairy doesn't, every time you say you don't believe in fairies, a fairy will die.
Mhm.
So I learned that on Peter Pan.
It keeps adding the leaves. And then you have to rake them up. All these dead fairies. Dagnabbit.
Yeah, he said that about.
Comment section's getting unruly.
Yeah, David knows I was picking on him about his apron. That's why he said that. He knows I don't like. He doesn't like me bringing up him in the apron.
So he's in Pennsylvania. I guess they don't have.
What's that? No, David. Yeah, David and Melissa. They're in Virginia. So yeah.
Okay. They're We'll say there's no Buc-ee's up there. You can graduate to the brisket cook. The Buc-ee's gas station. The guy that runs the car wash at Buc-ee's makes $125,000 a year.
What?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
time to make the donuts. I'd be there for anybody.
Wow.
A
Oh,
lot
that's
of
right. Yeah,
Virginia
Tiffany. That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry to leave you out, Tiffany. Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah, I won't say her. Yeah, I didn't know you go by Tea Time with Tiffany on YouTube. I had no idea. I know your full real name. So, but yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I was on a podcast with Tiffany not long ago. Yeah.
You were, wasn't you, at the Brian show?
No, not Brian.
Paranormal Odyssey, Wayne.
Wayne, yes, that's it.
Wayne.
It was Wayne. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, Wayne. Yeah, I was gonna say when you said Brian, that threw me off. I was like, yeah.
They hang out together.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Our thoughts go out to Wayne's dad. I think he's still sick, but I think I haven't heard anything else about him. He was having some health issues there. It's one of those things you never ask.
Right.
I'm gonna ask about it.
Tiffany, hopefully you can make it up to the Bigfoot conference in June. It's actually a 2-day event this year, June 14th and 15th in Wares Cave, Virginia, at the Wares Cave Community Center. So Yeah. If anyone wants information on the Virginia Bigfoot Conference, just go to www.vabigfootcon.com. Yeah, there's I updated some information on that earlier today. So, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I've
you know,
convinced
we
Melissa to
got-
get a job at Bucky's.
There is actually a Bucky's built in. Oh, that's the new one. I think there's a new one right now. Yeah, I think that just I forgot about that. It wasn't built before I came up here. So, oh, he said they broke
Bucky's is where
ground
it's
just
at.
recently. Oh, it's being built. Okay, it's not built yet. It's being built. I heard one was coming. So,
Oh, Joe Turry back. What's the best physical evidence you have found?
honestly, I would have to go with just the foot tracks.
That is
Finding
literally the best kind.
I mean, that's the only thing I've ever come across. There's physical evidence for Bigfoot. Now, I could say hair, but the hair samples I've had are contributed to bears. There's a lot of bears, a lot of black bears leave hair behind.
Yeah, the hair thing's kind of hard because everything's got hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing too. I know people have found the same kind of hair I have because it has brown and blonde and white, whatever. They contributed. Oh, okay, this has got to be a Bigfoot. Well, a lot of people don't realize, and I learned this with black bear hair. Black bear hair has multiple colors. You know, when we see a black bear, we see that it's all black, maybe a little bit of brown on the snout. But what little do they know is there's actually brown and white underneath all that we don't see. A lot of the white is closer to the skin. You know, if you were able to pluck a bunch of hair out of a bear, look at it. You're going to see brown. You're going to see white. It's not all black. You know, look around. You know, if you want to find hairs, look for small broken pine saplings. Very good possibility you'll find black bear hair. Look on telephone poles. Look up and down telephone poles. You'll find snagged hairs on them. Bears love to scratch.
Scratch like a big just.
Yep. Mm.
Do you ever do any like cold scouting? Like go to a place that's kind of wide open and like maybe look for sign to go deeper into the woods?
Oh yeah.
I talked to Zeus Pratt about this a lot.
Now, when you say wide open, are you mainly referring to like start off in an open area in the woods?
Oh, like if you went to like a national forest or state forest, and
right,
you know, it's a big place. Like, where would you start to look for the step one before you started going deeper into the forest? What would you look for?
Well, basically, that's kind of like what I've been doing over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start as far as Virginia goes. When I started doing this in Virginia, you know, when I learned certain particular areas, I started scouting out areas, and I found a particular area. I was like, you know, this is part of the national forest. I want to check out this area here. So I was drawn to that area, and you know, I'm going to start doing my research here. I'm going to start exploring, getting familiar with this area. And would you know that before I started discovering things, before I started noticing things, I had people that I worked with know that I was camping out there. I've had people come out and tell me about their Bigfoot sightings. And here's the kicker. They didn't know. These are my coworkers. At this particular time, none of my coworkers knew that I was a Bigfoot researcher or involved or had interest in Bigfoot. This one particular guy was a hunter. He hunted out there. But when he learned that I was camping out there, he felt the need that he wanted to tell me what he saw. At this time, it was probably when he told me the story, it was only about 2 years old. But when he told me the exact location, I said, whoa, that's like a couple miles up from where I've been camping at, you know, just up the forest road 2 miles. And after he told me, I was like, dude, I said, who told you? How do you know about me? He said, what are you talking about? I said, I had one of my old cars at the time. I said, look, I'm a Bigfoot researcher. I look for Bigfoot, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't long. Things started to turn up, you know, apart from hearing stories,
Mhm.
It took me a little while, but I was finding tracks out there. And this is before I had an encounter out there. I was finding things. I started hearing things. I did a lot of exploring on my own, hiking. I was, a lot of people learned that I was out there hiking by myself a lot, and they thought that I was, crazy. I said that's not safe. Apparently they knew a few things about that area that I didn't know at that particular time. Like, not everybody will admit to it, but there is mountain lions out there. I had my sighting out there, like I was telling you earlier.
Mhm.
It was, and then jumping up here to Pennsylvania. Like, basically what me and Julie did, the area we've been investigating and seeing those weird lights. There was no documentation, no reports, nothing of any kind of activity or sightings in this particular area. But she knew of the area, and we drove through the area, and we found this spot. Like, hey, wait, we got to come back here. We just got to come up here. This looks like a great spot because, look, it's surrounded by woods. It's very thick through here, and it is a state forest. And we got to just come up here and hang out, see if we can listen, whatever. And sure enough, that's what it started off. The area, we were drawn to the area, And like I tell any other person, I've been asked this numerous times. Hey, what do I have to do to get involved? I want to start looking for Bigfoot. It's simple, basic stuff. I tell people, first of all, you can find an area of interest. Pick an area, get familiar with that area, learn about the terrain, get familiar with what wildlife inhabits or roams through that area. Constantly visit that location, especially for changes, because your weather and your seasons are going to change the appearance of that location. Things are going to look different from time to time,
Mhm.
because
Oh yeah.
leaf litter, pine litter, new trees coming down, stuff like that. Find out if you have prey animals in the area, like do the deer roam this area? Is there water sources, food sources? Observe the ecology, a lot of basic observations. Again, the area, I'm not saying pick an acre of the area because, national forests, state forests, there are thousands of acres of these forests.
Mhm.
But like in Virginia, I have my research area down there broken up into zones. I have Ecpro Zone 1, Ecpro Zone 2. I have up to 5 zones in there, and each zone is very large. I focus more in one area at a time than I do the others because some of the, like, for example, what I call Ecpro Zone 1, that's where I've had most of my activity, experiences, sightings, whatever you call it. I focus there a lot. For some reason, they're drawn to that area. One, because there is multiple water sources in that little area.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask if it had water there. Sure enough.
Oh, absolutely. There's creeks, streams, and those creeks and streams feed into the main river that run into the lake down below. So all that's there. You got the low ground, you got the high ground. Other predators there. There's bear in there. There's coyote. I've seen deer kills from coyote, and I've even seen bear hair in coyote scat. So the coyotes are doing a number on the wildlife out there. So, and I have reason to believe that there are red wolves in that particular area. There's red wolves. I have pictures of red wolves east of the area, on the far east of the Shenandoah Valley. But what I seen one day, 8 o'clock in the morning, right outside of my camp, I seen this deer jolting across the road. A few short seconds later, this large canine running right behind it. It was very large. It was too large to be a coyote. And when I looked at it, and I compared what I've seen with the picture of the red wolf, that I got a picture of a red wolf with a guy holding it up. He shot it down because it was getting into his livestock. And again, that's over on the opposite side of the valley, just on the other side of the mountain. And with what I recall seeing on that and what I saw run across the road, I was like, that's got to be a red wolf. What else could that be, So, yeah, Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a very large coyote. It was if it was any big coyote, it was a coy wolf because they have coyote and wolf combined. You know, I know they're common.
Bootleg coyotes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you said East Virginia. It could be a red wolf. They're over there.
Yeah. Well, when I say east of the Shenandoah Valley, well, the Shenandoah Valley is very large, and we're surrounded by mountains either way you go. But to be more specific, like east of the Blue Ridge. Where my research area is, it's more towards West Virginia. You got the Allegheny Mountains that run out through there, you know, and among other mountains, the Shenandoah Mountain, Little and Big North Mountain. A lot of mountain ranges run out that way. But so I know I kind of got a little off course with what I was going at, but yeah, it's very familiar to get familiar with everything possible, note and document everything.
I've heard more people say that to be familiar with all the local wildlife where you go exploring.
Well, it's very important that you do, and not like especially bears. If you got bears in the area, and people that say, "Oh, I don't have bears in my area," just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Bears are just as elusive as a Bigfoot, almost. Although they are seen, you know. Don't get me started on that. I've seen some close, some, you know, I've had some close encounters with them. Not dangerous, of course, because bears are very skittish, you know, on the most part. But
I love seeing bears when we go to the Smokies.
Oh yeah, bears are very interesting, and their signs are everywhere in my area. You know, I was hoping to see some bears on my camera. We just picked up my cameras. I've been out in the woods for over 2 months up in the one main area we've been in, and I know there was bear signs out there. I thought for sure I would have got me a bear on my cameras. I did not. I got just a few a few deer. So, but yeah, as far as getting familiar with the known wildlife and what they're known for doing, they're like I said, bears. Bears are notorious for doing a lot of destruction and and so forth. That's that quote I like to say. I share it. You can find it's right on my Facebook. Learn and know what is known before seeking the unknown. You got to get familiar with what's known because everybody that goes out in the woods, and I'm going to tell you, I've learned that there's people. Well, you think they would be more knowledgeable. I mean, these are people much older than me. I'll be 44 in March. There's grown men in their 50s and 60s that've been hunting all their life, and they think they know things. Well, you know, from my observation, some of these guys don't know any better because. And when I say this, these are people that are involved with Bigfoot. When they go out in the woods, every broken tree they find or every pushed over tree they find is Bigfoot. Well, there's other. Gang. Oh yeah, I mean, I like sharing stuff like that too, but I always leave room for possibilities. Is Bigfoot building this? Hey, that's a possibility. You know, or did Bigfoot break this? That's a possibility. But Bigfoot should be our last consideration. I mean, we have so many other species. Bears are notorious for breaking trees. A strong wind will blow over and snap a tree.
Heaven forbid we think the wind did it.
I know, right?
My problem with it is, I was on the forestry team in high school, and I grew up in the woods, and so whenever I first started into this world, and I'd get sent a picture of a damn tree, I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I started getting sent recordings of hoot owls. I'm like, well, that's just a hoot owl. I'm like, and then you got to notice tree structures and owls have to have something accompanying for me to. It has to have like a rock throw, or it has to end the. Let me take a drink. When they go at the end of it, if it doesn't go that's how you. If it goes, that's how you know it's a squatch.
Right.
I had to go ventriloquism over here.
But you know, some of these tree breaks, if you look at them, some of them do appear to have a twist in them.
Yeah, the ones I like. That's how.
Now I do too, but at the same time, this is where the objective side of me comes in. One thing I learned and understand about a lot of tree species, a lot of them, their fibers grow in a spiral formation, and a lot of people don't realize we don't see that from the outside. We see just a smooth up and down bark, but a lot of trees have a spiral formation that grows inside. And a lot of trees, when they get pushed over or break, you're going to see right at the break, it's going to look like a slight twist in there. The ones that really intrigued me, and I have found this on numerous occasions, is where the broken tree is like completely like spun around in a cork screw twist.
Now, it looks like something's done it 2 or 3 times.
Right, exactly. Those are what intrigued me, you know. But yeah, now to see a broken tree that's freshly broken and is green, you know, I tend to lean, okay, was a Bigfoot pushing this over, or was a bear playing on this? Because a bear, a lot of people realize a big fat bear, they don't realize. I know this is probably this cup right here. Yeah, it's got Bigfoot on it right here, but it's only about maybe 3 inches round. Now bears will climb a tree, 3 inches, 4 inches. They'll climb a small tree. But if they get high enough in that tree, and if they're a decent sized bear, their weight and the momentum will cause that tree to fall over. You know, in some cases, that tree will, if they let go, it might just spring back up. But if they stay on it, if it goes down fast enough, it might get that break in it. But I used to play like that when I was a kid. You know, I used to climb when I was a young kid. I used to climb up real tall in these small, skinny trees and hold on to it and let the weight bring me back down until I touched the ground with my feet. I used to do that. That was a fun thing for me to do as a kid playing in the woods. You know, didn't always work out that way because you grab the wrong limb. If there is a rotten limb above that you don't realize, next you know you're landing down on the ground on your back. You know, or I've had that tree about that. Yeah.
I've had a tree about that big around, grew up next to my tree house growing up, and I would get a hold of it and kind of ride it down like a reverse pole vaulter.
Yeah.
And it would kind of put me down like 20 feet away, and it would snap back up. If I did that now, if I did that now, it would just break.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing in the woods as a kid, though. You know,
I don't know how I didn't die doing that.
Yeah, I know the one time I can recall falling out of a tree, and like I said, I was pretty, I don't know, a good 20-something feet up. But I remember I was small, but when I grabbed that limb, I was actually using the limb to pull myself up, not using my feet to step up on another limb. Sometimes I used to grab and just pull myself up. But there was one particular limb, I grabbed with one hand and I went to pull up. I was so far up and snap, and I was going straight back, landed on my back. I was on the ground for a little bit. I never got, it didn't knock me out, but it knocked the wind out of me. I was like, oh, for a second, I thought, oh no, I didn't think I was going to be able to move, but I was like, oh.
Thought you were paralyzed?
Yeah, for a second, because the way it knocked the wind out of me. But yeah, I mean, I was able to get up from it, so.
I remember the first time I got the wind knocked out of me, I thought it was over. So I'm dead. This is what death is.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, it was stupid. I tried to jump off a couch onto a mattress on the floor during a sleepover, like Godzilla jumped into the water. So I jumped and did like a preacher seat onto the floor, so my butt hit first like this, and I was I thought I was dead.
Wow.
I was like 7. Probably what's wrong with me now. Probably why I got sciatica now. 35 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun playing in the woods growing up, but yeah, as far as a lot of structures. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good Lord. It's an hour. It was an hour and 43 minutes. I thought it was like 45.
Yeah, time goes by. Time flies. Actually,
Nikki's here.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
We're
Nikki.
just talking squash.
Yeah, we're quasi wrapping up. I don't know. She said, oops. I need to get back on Nikki's show. It's been a while. That's a fun one to do. I wish it lasted longer than an hour. Wait,
I think
it
it was-
lasts longer than an hour. I just had to leave. Never mind.
I think it was last week she had me on. Yeah, I think it was last week. We had a fun podcast there going over our. She had we were going over different things. A lot of it had to do with feral children and feral people. That was very interesting. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's terrifying. Like black-eyed
Yeah.
children.
Oh yes, them too. Yeah,
Like how in the world?
yeah,
The feral kids and the Smokies.
yeah. Misidentified and feral children. Yeah, yeah. That was a good podcast.
A lot of people don't know that Jodie Foster was a feral child
Really?
on that movie Nail.
Oh, on Nell. Yeah, I was gonna wait a minute.
Nail? Remember Nail?
Yeah,
Chickabay,
I rem-
chickabay.
yeah, yeah. That was good. And then, yeah, when they brought her in, and yeah, they civilized her and taught her to speak. So yeah.
I don't know how that movie's
Yeah.
not like I don't know how that movie's not more famous than it is, because that's like a icon core memory in my mind the first time I saw it.
Yeah, they need to either do another one similar to that, or that was good. They need to make one about. Yeah, I think they should make one about more of a feral wild child or something. Or it doesn't have to be a big. It could be a feral adult, someone that grew up that way. I don't know. Maybe they have movies out like that. I'm just not familiar with it. But I mean, there's movies
What?
about wild people.
Why did I think of
I don't-
Encino Man?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Just automatically thought of Encino Man.
Yeah. What's his name?
Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore,
Pauly Shore. Yeah.
Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah. Why did they never make another one when what's his name? Brendan Fraser's cave girlfriend got loose at the end. Yeah, at the very
Yeah, that
end,
was
she
good.
came out of the ice. Yeah,
Jumped
they
out.
should have made another one.
They would have
Yeah.
ruined it. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is like my type of lore too. It's exactly what I thought about when you said that. Mowgli and the Jungle Book.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I love. Yeah. What's his name? Jason Scott Lee played the first one. I like the one he played, Mowgli, the
Mhm.
Jungle Book. Yeah.
From the
Jason Scott
90s.
Lee did a good job with that. Yeah. Yeah, they did the other one, the new remake of a little boy and all the animals they made all the animals talk and everything. That wasn't bad. That was okay, but I like Jason Scott Lee's version a lot better. So, yeah,
Makes
he's
me wonder
like
if there's like an American version of that somewhere that I don't know about.
right. Yeah, Jason Scott Lee, the one scene, and he's like, "I'm not an animal, I'm not a man." He didn't know what he was because he grew
I
up
had
with the animal.
I had that on a tape when I
Yeah.
was in school. What we're going deep here. We're going to have to end it because it's getting way off track. But
Yeah, it is. It's all good.
But-
We had fun though. So.
would Dances with Wolves be considered kind of the same thing? Because
Well-
she remember well, it's not feral. I don't want to seem racist, but like she got robbed by the Native Americans that killed her family at a young age, and he finds her in that tribe, a little blonde girl, and she's like, 11,
Oh,
and she's no longer white. It's not like she's part of an animal. I mean, she's just a different culture, but he brings her back into it being English.
right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that one.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
Hmm.
Tatanka
Absolutely.
talks about the buffalo. It's got the dude got that famous Native American guy that's in every movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the
Yeah,
one
he's
from
been in a
Yellowstone, but the other one.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The one from Maverick.
Let me see.
I can't think. He's always funny. He was in Josie Wales.
Graham Greene.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Graham Greene. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. So, he was the main one out of that one. Yeah. Yeah, the girl you're talking about. Yeah, the woman, she was on the movie. She was known as Stands with a Fist.
Mm-hmm.
Mary McDonald. So
That's kind of along that same vein. Like, I don't like saying that Native Americans aren't, you know, I'm not saying that they're animals. I'm saying that like she's just like completely 180 from where she was.
right, absolutely.
It's like if somebody got put in North Korea for 10 years, they came back to America. Again, I'm not saying Native Americans, okay, I'm going to get canceled.
No, I get what you're saying. That you grew up in one culture and then get brought back into where you're supposed to be growing up.
I mean,
at.
just 100% 80 degrees away from it.
Right.
You're there with Graham
Yeah,
Greene.
no.
You don't know what's going on.
Oh man,
That's hilarious.
Whew.
All right. Well, Wilkin, he was in Reservoir Dogs. Damn. Okay. I'm sitting here reading over Graham Greene.
Yeah, I keep coming across that. That's a movie I haven't watched yet, and I keep coming across it on my browsing on my TV. There, it keeps showing up.
The old one from the 90s.
Oh no, I didn't know there was an old version. I think this one looks kind of modern.
Well, there's one that's like 2023. It's like a series, but you got to watch the original, the Tarantino. You got to watch the Tarantino classic.
Okay. Huh.
This is Reservation Dogs. Okay. Different show completely.
Oh, Reservation Dogs, and then there's one called Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs is a Tarantino movie.
Okay. All right.
And it is amazing. You'll really enjoy that one if you watch it.
Okay.
Lots of guns. Steve Buscemi. Can't beat it. Yep. Steve Buscemi, guns. Tarantino. What's not to love?
Absolutely.
They
need to come up with some more. Yeah, they need to come up with some more Bigfoot movies. You know, they need to do movies more like one of my favorites. Probably, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Bigfoot movies out there. Besides Harry and the Hendersons, which I would like to see another movie similar to that, you know. But as far as more on the thriller horror side, what's that movie? Big Legend. I like Big Legend. That was pretty cool. It almost looked like they were going to do towards the end, you would almost expect a sequel, just by the way the very end came out. But then again, I don't know.
I don't think it gets any better than Exist when it comes to Bigfoot movies.
Now, I've seen that before. I need to watch that again because they're it's funny about the movie Exist, the Bigfoot they used in that movie. You know how many times I've seen that image posted in different Bigfoot groups?
Mm-hmm.
People like think it's a real Bigfoot, not realizing where it actually came from. Kind of goes to show not many people watch Bigfoot movies because you would think they would recognize some of these Bigfoots that they post. You know, I know a lot of these Bigfoot believer groups. There's a few different Bigfoot believer groups. Some of them have big time members in them, but a lot of them have these non-believers that will post crap in there for the non.
Trying to discredit it.
That or trying to pull fast ones on them. You know, and some people, very few, recognize something, but most of the people just are gullible and fall for everything that's put out there. You know, but a lot of people don't believe in research. You know, looking stuff up for themselves. You know, I mean, there is apps on there, reverse image apps. You know, sometimes it takes a while, but you'll find something. You know, but it is what it is. Or in some cases, if I can't find something, I go to Nikki. Nikki is like she does a lot of in-depth research. She could find out
in the
where
coalition
something came from. Well, she's good at what she does.
I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure she's not. I had the director of Exist on. That was an amazing show. Eduardo Sanchez.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
He did Exist and he did Blair Witch Project. I had him on my podcast. I reached out to him like, dude, we got to talk about this.
Right. Yeah, that movie exists from what I recall seeing of it. Of course, the time I watched it, I was down at my buddy Tracy Arnold's house, and keep in mind he lives down out in, he's on the outskirts of town in the boonies, and of course it was nighttime when he said, "Hey, we're gonna watch this movie. It's called Exist." I was like, "Oh, okay, I've
Ooh.
heard of it. I was familiar with it." Of course, him living in a trailer out in the woods, I was like, "This should
I
be."
bet that was a little. I bet that was a rush.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I was like,
That movie never lets up.
I don't get scared easily, but I was like feeling the thrill of the movie. So, like at one point I was like, Tracy, can we close your curtains?
Can we turn the lights off? Can we get in the basement? No, let's not get in the basement.
There's no basement in that trailer.
One of the reasons I had him on, one of like my sub points, was to ask him about the Patterson Gimlin suit, and he showed out. That was a whole clip I clipped from that thing, talking about the technology of suits and everything. He goes, we had a budget for Exist, and we just had, and our Bigfoot looked like some guy that lived in a trailer.
Wow.
He said it looked like a crackhead. But I think he did. I think he did pay attention because it had chiclet teeth. The Exist one did. Like that's the one thing you see. It's the one thing you see constantly across the board is chiclet teeth.
Right.
He said that suit just disintegrated too. It was so the way it was put together.
Really? It was wow. Was that cheap of a suit?
Well, just how it was made, I think, and it was so hot, and it was just doing all that.
Right.
It was a good episode. I suggest everybody watch it. It's on my thing there. Exist. Eduardo Sanchez. He did the VHS too. That movie's freaking amazing.
Right.
You watch that at night, you'll turn the lights on. I guarantee it. That movie's scary as shit. There's like 3 of them, and they're all scary.
Yeah. Huh.
What is Nikki saying? I'll have to back.
I'll come back. Maybe come back.
Yeah. I got it. She means I have to have us back. Hey, I'm all
okay.
I'm all for everybody I'm on a podcast with do one like once a month. I don't care. I'm trying to push my way to the top and like make this a thing. And my recent unofficial change in format, because I'm not changing anything about how the show's presented, is I'm more of like the combat field reporter of the paranormal and not like an investigator. Like I'm there maybe beside and I talk to them. I'm in the shit and I got like a blue vest and I don't have all. I just want to accompany it.
Yeah.
Because I've been on a couple investigations lately. There she is. Has to have you back. Anywho, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And this has been a great time. And it's getting late and everybody's watched and appreciate it. Daniel's
absolutely.
Army showed up. And I think I actually have you scheduled to be on again because I thought I was going to be on yours tonight. And so I guess we'll maybe do that.
Because we had this already scheduled to do this, and I had a message from a buddy of mine, and I totally forgot about it. I usually write things down in my book right here, and he had said, he said, what? Because we were going to do a phone interview. I was going to do a phone record interview for him because his wife I was going to interview his wife, and I was like, oh, crap. I said, I double booked. And I was like, we'll have to reschedule. I told him, I said, I'm already scheduled to be on a podcast tonight. So we'll have to figure something out. Because I give that option to people because there's some people that don't want their faces on here. They don't mind speaking about it and sharing about it, but they don't want to be seen. And, which I get that. That's totally fine, especially if the individual, they're a government worker to begin with. So, so they don't want to use their real name and they don't want their face showing. So, but they're willing to talk about what they've seen and witnessed. So I'm all for I know how to keep names out there, names out of there. So, but,
I've got one of those on Sunday that I have to hide the name.
Oh, okay.
But he gave me his picture. And so I don't know. All right.
Wow.
Guess we'll roll with it.
Yeah. Because I've spoken to eyewitnesses, like, hey, look, if I come to your, in interview you at your site of where you've had your activity or your sighting, I would love to do an interview with you on camera. And I said, when I do my editing, I said, if you don't want your face showing, I could blur you out, then. And for example, there's one guy said, well, hey, I don't know, I might be willing to do it. He said, it sounds like it'll be fun. I said, yeah, of course it's. I said, no one's gonna recognize you. I said, my viewers, I don't think your neighbors are gonna, surprisingly just go out of the blue and look up Bigfoot stuff, but but it is
know.
whatever.
It's on the internet forever.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because you know what I do when I interview somebody, when I interview somebody on my podcast or like here on YouTube or whatever, after it's done, like I use StreamYard like you do, and I'll download the audio version of it when I'm done, and I put that on my online radio program. Like I have ECBRO Bigfoot Radio, so if people want to listen to a podcast, without the, like, especially if you're driving, you can listen to Spotify. I mean, I got iHeartRadio, Pandora, and my podcast can be heard on any platform, almost any platform that's out there. Because it started off on only so many, and then I applied to a couple others, and then it gets branched out on its own to other ones, which I say, it's cool, So
yeah, I don't know how that happens. Mine is on like a bunch. I didn't put it on there.
Yeah, it branches out. Like, I started off doing my online through Anchor.
Yeah, I do Anchor. Now it's Spotify.
Right. Spotify always owned it, but now, mine's the same thing. It's owned by Spotify. But yeah, they do that. They actually branch out to other ones. It takes a little while, but yeah, the more you have it, the more it branches out. But like iHeartRadio and Pandora, I think I had to sign up for those ones. Those are the ones.
Yeah, you got to put the code out to those. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I did, and it registered on them. So
I'm okay with it.
But yeah. So yeah, the more it puts out there, I mean, and here's the other thing. I don't know how yours work. I don't know how to. Mine ain't monetized. They used to be, but when they stopped, you got to go under some other platform to do something. I looked into it. I said, I don't know, it seems too hard. I don't know. I just can't figure that part out.
I'm not after that kind of monetization anyway. I'm not even going to look into it.
Yeah, which mine's not. Like, yeah, like now my YouTube channel, mine is monetized, but I don't have enough views to make anything off of it. To be honest,
it's $20 a month.
Yeah. Oh no, to do it on YouTube, to have your YouTube channel, it shouldn't cost you nothing. It just
you get like $20 a month, and then like every few months you get $100 check.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's basically how it is. Yeah. Now there's YouTube channels out there. A lot of these, they got thousands. You got to have so many views daily to really make anything decent.
$1 for every 1,000 views you get.
Yeah. So
it's like the rule of thumb.
So like on my channel, I give the option if they're on the chat, and you could do the same thing if you have that, if it's available to the viewers, if they want to support your channel. Right on the bottom of the chat, if they look to the right, if they're viewing from YouTube, there's a super chat. Yeah, so feel free to, for anyone watching, if you want to support, Bobby here, just hit that super chat. Send them some money.
I'll probably be there in about 6 weeks to have that. I'm about 6 weeks away from a super chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think your whole channel's got to have so many total views. Yeah. I forget what all that is. I haven't had to look into that in a while. But
I'm about there. I'm catching my stride here lately, and it's getting kind of real. And I'm okay with it. I'm ready to do it.
Right.
All right, folks. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We're going to wrap it up. And this has been Daniel, not Benoit, Benoit, ECBROfounder.com. The link is in the description. Thanks again for being on, Daniel. We're going to close it out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Guys, keep it squatchy.
BobbyDizzle.com. Like, comment, subscribe. Squatch out.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.